Hello again, everyone. The next town we are approaching is Coffey, Missouri. Population 151 people. And we are in the northwest corner of the state. And Coffey is approximately 85 miles from Kansas City, Missouri. And this is the town right here. Speed limit 25. And some background information on Coffey. The town was founded in 1856 as Coffeysburg, and they changed the name to Coffey in 1910. And that's about roughly when the population peaked. It peaked 10 years later at approximately 367 people. So over the last about 100 years, they've lost about half of their population. And just some more background information. The median resident age is 28 years old. Per capita income is $12,600 per year. So that's about $1,000 per month per person, and that is rather low. That's actually just about at the poverty line, which I believe is $12,000 per year per person. And the average household income is approximately $29,700 per year, so that's a little bit better. Though the thing with household income is you don't know really how many people that includes to make that $29,700. But looks like there's quite a bit of poverty here, though the home prices are quite a bit cheaper. The median price of a house is just $41,500. And that is a pretty cool looking church there. At one time this might have been a nice place to live. I mean, it still could be, but... And here is this very neat looking church building, and except for the graffiti there on the bottom, very cool looking building there. And I'm not sure if it's still being used as a church, or perhaps this is someone's house, I believe, at this point. Let's go check out this other side of the street here. Let's see here, 51% of the residents are in poverty, which from the previous income figures, that's not too surprising. So most people here live in poverty, very, very high rate of poverty. And then what's surprising is the unemployment rate is rather low. It's actually below the national average at just 2.1%. And that is rather surprising. If you can't find a job, which most people seem to have, apparently the jobs don't pay very much, and I would assume most of the work is in agriculture around here. The crime rate in Coffey is slightly higher than average at approximately 28 incidents per 1,000 residents. 98% of the residents are white, and 79% of people here are Republican. And that is rather surprising. So there's rather high poverty, slightly high crime, yet 79% of people voted for Trump here. It's a little bit of a contradiction, but that's just apparently how it works. And finally, the last couple statistics here. background information. 80% of residents have graduated from high school and 1% graduated from college. And even if you did graduate from college, I'm not sure what good it would really do you here, being that this is rather isolated, being we're approximately about 85 miles from a major city, which would be Kansas City. And most of the jobs out here are going to be in agriculture, and pretty much this whole town is just surrounded by these cornfields. And so you don't really have too much choice about your work. It's either agriculture or possibly transportation, truck driving jobs. Anyhow, that would be the end of the town of Coffey, and we're off to the next town. Hello again, everyone. The next town coming up is Senath, Missouri. Population 1,593, and we're in the southeastern part of the state of Missouri. And here's the turnoff for the this little town here. And their population in Senath has shrunk by about 10% over the last 10 years. And what's interesting about this city here is the downtown area is rather deserted, so it does qualify as for a ghost town status. Anyhow, some more background information on the city. The per capita income is $16,300. The median household income is $34,200, and the difference between the two is one is per capita is per person, and household is what every household earns. And that is not as bad as I actually thought it would be. I mean, that's still pretty low, but when you get into this downtown area here, like right in here, it's a lot of vacant buildings in here. And this is the downtown part of Senath, and there's not a whole lot going on here right now. It's pretty quiet. Tuesday afternoon, it's about 4:30, and I'm not sure what business was here, but it certainly does not look like there's a whole lot going on here. Looks like there's a sofa and they got some kind of a workbench or whatnot set up in there. Not a whole lot of activity here. Looks like someone's living in that building down the street. And then across the street there's a home medical supplier, and you got other business as an auto parts store. And then those other buildings, those look empty. Greetings for governor. I don't know if I'd want to put my for governor sign around here, but maybe that governor will help improve the business situation here. And it is a possibility that this business district, it could be the result of people going to the Walmart as opposed to shopping local. That is one possibility, because the residential area does not look as bad as I expected it to. Anyhow, and I actually thought the income figures would be a little bit lower than that. Situation, it's kind of not terrible. Approximately 26% of residents are in poverty, and for a rural town like this, I've certainly seen worse. And some pretty neat church buildings here that we just passed. That's a First Methodist Church. Crime here is about double the national average at 51 reported incidents per 1,000 people. And looks like we're just about at the end of town here. Just starts to get into some of the farms. And let me see if I can just cut through this neighborhood here and then go back to the downtown part. Look around there a little bit. And there's a cemetery behind the soybean field back there. So crime here, getting back to the statistics, crime here is a bit high. And let's see, some more background. 54% of residents are white and approximately 45% Hispanic. Average household size is 2.6. So there's families with children here. And like this area here actually isn't that bad. I was expecting worse after driving through the downtown area, seeing all the vacant businesses. And as far as I can tell, the only grocery store, if you could call it a grocery store, that they have in town is a family dollar store. And I think that's coming up in a little bit. That would be this family dollar store here on the left. And the thing is with these dollar stores is they don't really sell fresh fruits or vegetables. It's I mean, as far as like vegetables go, everything is canned. So health-wise might not be the best place to shop, but they do sell like milk and orange juice and stuff like that. And then some buildings here kind of need a little bit of work, or maybe just needs to be torn down. But most of these houses in here, they're really not that bad. I was certainly expecting a bit worse after looking at the background info, but I hope that we don't get into a dead-end street, but it doesn't look too bad down here. Most people have their yards cut. Not too much junk and trash. And a little bit more background for Senath. 67% of residents completed high school and 9% graduated from college, and that is a little bit below the national average. But as far as jobs go here, I think it's mostly agriculture, and they seem to grow a lot of soybeans, corn, and they also grow a lot of watermelon here, surprisingly. They got these giant like watermelon farms just outside of town. And we're now just getting back into the downtown area here. And this definitely could use some improvement. I think I might come back here and just maybe walk around a little bit. It looks kind of interesting. And a little bit more background. Unemployment here is approximately 6.3%, and it is a bit higher than the national average, but that's to be expected when you get into these rural communities. And approximately 79% of residents are Republican. So even with the sort of high poverty rate here, the poverty is about 26%. 79% of people voted for Trump here. That's just one more contradiction. And there is the water tower for Senath. And now we're starting to leave the town, and pretty soon it'll just turn into farms, soybean fields. Like off to the left, there's a bean field over there. They got some businesses here. There's a Nutrient Ag Solutions, and I think all of this, actually this is a pretty big Farmers Union Gin Company. And here's another Nutrient building. This is a pretty big industrial area over here for the agriculture. So agriculture is pretty big in this area, and we're pretty much out of town. Now we start to get more into the farmland. And then over here to the left is a Jones & Jones watermelon. And that looks like an alfalfa field, but they also have these watermelon fields out here too. So if you happen to like watermelon, this is the place for you to come and check out. Anyhow, we are pretty much out of town, and that will conclude our tour of Senath. And hello again, everyone. I'm still in southeastern Missouri, and the next city that we're coming up to is Kennett, Missouri. Population 10,500 people, and this would be the main street of Kennett, and it's a little bit larger than a lot of the other towns that I've been through. They even have a super Walmart here, so that's how you kind of know you're getting into larger towns. But 10,500 still on the small side. Population here peaked in the year 2000 at 11,200 people. So over the last 20 years or so, they've lost about 700 people. Walker bail bonds, kind of odd, just past a bail bonds place, and then there's a Guns and JR pawn shop. Some interesting businesses here, but you would kind of think a small town with only 10,500 people wouldn't be too much crime here, but unfortunately it's not really the safest part of the state of Missouri. Anyhow, I'll get to that in a little bit. And they also have quite a few boarded up businesses here, such as the one coming up on the left. Looks like that could have been a grocery store at some point. And then here is a church. It says First Baptist Church, and that's a pretty interesting building. It's a rather large church too for kind of a small town. And then we're just about to the center of town, more boarded up businesses. And then there's another bail bonds place, Brian Smith Bail Bonds, open 24 hours a day. And then you might not be able to see it, but there's a pretty cool courthouse building. I might have to come back here and get a better look at their courthouse. Anyhow, some more background information on Kennett. Median resident age is 38 years old. That's about average. Per capita income is $27,600, and that's actually doing better than I expected. Median household income is $50,700, and that's actually doing pretty good. I mean, if the average household here is making a little bit over $50,000 a year, that's doing quite well, considering the average home price is about $100,000. And just going to check out some of these side streets, see what's going on in the residential part of town. And the bad news is that the crime rate here is rather high, at approximately 76 incidents per 1,000 people, and that is actually almost triple the national average. And it looks like I found the Kennett power station here. It's starting to get dark, and hopefully I won't get lost driving around making a YouTube video. Not sure if this is the best town to get lost in. I'll just drive around a little bit more, why not? Check this out down here. And you know, this doesn't really look too bad in here. I mean, some of these places are newer. Those look like townhouses. That looks nice. It's not somewhere I'd expect crime is triple. And some more background information. 73% of residents are white, 16% black, and 4% are Hispanic. So it's a very mixed demographic in Kennett. Some of these houses don't look like they're being lived in. It's kind of a mix. Just getting back to the background information, unemployment here is slightly above average at 5%. That's not really too bad. And what's rather surprising, like most of these smaller towns, is most residents are Republican, and here in Kennett, approximately 76% of the residents are Republican, which means they voted for Trump. And that's just one more contradiction, but just how it is. And I am almost lost here. I'm trying to find my way out of town at this point, and this is looks like a park area. And finally, the final numbers. The high school graduates, 79% of people completed high school. and approximately 21% of residents completed college, and that's actually not that bad. That's actually roughly close to the national average. So they do have a educated population here. As far as why crime would be nearly triple the national average, that's a bit of a mystery. Most of that is property crime though, such as theft and whatnot, but still have a high crime rate to deal with. This is the Kennett Hospital, which looks like it's been closed for some time now, and it has a couple broken windows, such as that one up there on the 3rd floor, and it looks like this building right next to it might have had a little bit of a fire, and it's really not clear why they would close a big hospital like this, but it looks like there's still somebody keeping up the yard. It's not completely overgrown with weeds and whatnot, and from news reports they say that it's possible that at some point they could reopen this hospital. We'll just have to wait and see.